You either a field Negro or a house Negro. Which one? You make $1,000 a week, you're a house Negro. You make $9 an hour, you're a field Negro. Read on.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger.
In what?
In hunger.
In hunger.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. Read on.
And in nakedness.
Starting to sound like Roots to me. Hungry, thirsty, naked. Brothers put a diaper on us, laid us on top of our brothers, laid the sisters on top of each other with a menstrual cycle, 3 months on the water, and you forget about your Holocaust and remember 9/11. That's what they teaching you? Forget about this, man. Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember 9/11. Remember that. Remember the Holocaust, man. Our Holocaust is the greatest Holocaust ever perpetrated by another nation, man. Over 100 million of us died in the slave trade, and you walk around here like ain't nothing happened. Martin Luther King died for you. Where the Martin Luther Kings at? Huh? What they doing? Sleeping? Where the Malcolm X's at? What y'all doing? Going to the club, popping bottles? What y'all doing now? What happened to the Harriet Tubmans, the Rosa Parks, that stand up for brothers and sisters and willing to die for them? Where they at? You might as well live under Jim Crow, man. It was a waste of time. We all asleep now. These lights done got us. It's amazing how there's so much lights in America and yet you can sleep through this. Read on.
And in one of all things.
And in what?
And in one of all things.
Tell me you're not in one of all things. Look at this block right here. Let's just take a second to look at this block right here. You're not in one of all things? I'm not gonna say nothing. Just look around. Everything you could possibly want is not right here, right now. Look what they did. Read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now he gonna put flowers in your hand.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Who had a yoke of iron put on their neck? Who that happened to? There ain't no denying who this is and who the Canaanites are. So we know who we are. We can prove it. We done calling ourselves Gentiles and heathens. We done with Christmas and Thanksgiving and Halloween. We done with bunny rabbits laying eggs. We done. Our parents was lied to, but we will not stand up for lies no more. I don't know when it has been the standard of our people to believe in something that we cannot prove. If you can't prove it with the Bible, how can you believe in something you can't prove, man? That don't even make sense to me. Read that for me, bro. Start at verse. Let me get right to it. Start at verse 4. Psalm 83 and verse 4. They had said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation." Let us do what? Cut them off from being a nation. Let us cut them off from being a nation. You ain't a nation no more. Now y'all just religion. Y'all just religion. Islam and Christianity got y'all fighting each other. Y'all went through the same slave shit. Their plan is working good. And why should the Bible identify as being the people that want to cut you off? Read on. That the name of Israel maybe no more in remembrance. So you don't even remember that you Israel no more. Read on. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So they are in a group against you. Who's against us? Read. The tabernacles of Edom. The who? Of Edom. The tabernacles of Edom. Who's Edom? Anybody know who Edom is? Edom is the purebred Caucasian. The Romans, the Italians, the Germans, the Spaniards, the Russians, the French. They are confederate against you. Caucasians, who else? And the Ishmaelites. And who? The Ishmaelites. And the Arabs. Together against you. Arabs and Caucasians together against you. Islam and Christianity killing our people. So listen, you want to be a Muslim? That's going to take your identity away from you. You want to be a Christian? It's going to take your identity away from you. Talk about modern Christianity. It's going to kill you. But listen, you want to follow it? Be my guest. Grab me Revelations 2 and 9. Bro, what was your question? Give me Deuteronomy 6 and 14. What's up? 6 and 14. Yeah.
You want this son?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, the people that's in Israel today, right. If you go back and do any heritage on us, you'll find that we trace back to anybody that's dark skinned. Because we all come from Adam. Adam was dark skinned. So you're gonna always find a brother to be dark skinned in the history. But was we Ethiopians? We was never Ethiopians. That's a different set of people. Right. So Cush, we was never Cush. You can't be a Hebrew Cushite. You either Hebrew or you Cush. The difference is one is African and one is Hebrew. I mean, they dark skinned, yeah. The Africans are dark skinned, but so the Arabs, and so are the Pakistanis.
Yo, boy, check out. I had to tell you this thing. And I said, yo, if I said if you ain't blowing his blue eye, so he told me, come on, nigga. I said, the white man, you nigga. I said, no, the white man.
Listen, bro, it's niggas of every race. The word nigga only means ignorance.
I said, the white man, or there's a person have for nigga.
Right.
In Spanish, and black.
Right. That's what it means. The word with the 2 G's in it, that means ignorant. The word nigga means black, dark skin. Right. Grab me Acts 13 and 1. Hey, you can call them any name, but I call them by their nationality. Esau, Edom. Yo, make sure that brother get a hamburger, man. Somebody take him over there and get him a hamburger. Make sure he get it, man. I don't want this brother buying something else with your money. Read me 13 and 1. Acts 13 verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that were called Niger. It was called what? Niger. It was called Niger. So when they looked at Barnabas and Simeon, who you know is Israelites according to scripture, because it's an Israelite book, a Hebrew book, they was called Niger. That's Acts 13 and 1. Read it again. Acts 13 verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Niger. It was called Niger, the same word you just gave me. So when the Romans looked at these brothers, they looked at them and said, brother, you dark skin, Niger, black. So all throughout our life, we was always mistaken for Africans. Look at the story of Joseph. When Joseph got taken to Africa, right, into Egypt, right, his brothers came, and when they saw him, what they said? Nothing. They didn't even know who he was. Right, but they didn't even know who Joseph was. Why not? Because he looked like an Egyptian. Right, but listen, if he was Caucasian, he would have stuck out like a sore thumb, because everybody dark skinned. So when he had on the headdress and the garment, they looked at him and didn't even know that Joseph was their brother, because he blended in with every other dark skinned face that they saw when they went into Egypt. The point is that we are dark skinned just like the Africans are dark skinned, but we are 2 different nations. Africans are Africans, Hebrews are Hebrews. Their curse is to be a curse in a land. Our curse is to be a curse in every land. A byword to everybody. Everybody calls us Negroes. Everybody calls us Africans. Everybody calls us slaves. Everybody calls us dumb and slow. That's what they call us. Everybody, we lazy. That is our mantra as a Negro, as a Hebrew. Our curse as Judites. You are Jew, right? Your curse is to be hung on trees. Where they hung us on trees at? Here. They didn't do that to my brothers. He's from the Caribbean. They didn't do that to them in the Caribbean. They did that to us to here. So Judah's curse is to be hung by trees. Curses every man that hang up on a tree, just like Christ. Right. So that's our curse. That's how you identify the children of Israel, by curses, not by gifts. 6 and 14. What you got, bro? Read me Revelations real quick. We're going to get to that in a second. Read that for me.
Revelation chapter 2 verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
And what?
And poverty.
Show me a poor Jewish man. Show me one. You ever got on a train and had a brother shaking his cup at you with a yarmulke on and tassels hanging? You ever seen a Jewish man sitting on one of these corners, pushing a shopping cart, looking for some money? So Christ knows our poverty. That should automatically tell you, if the other scriptures ain't tell you, if Christ knows you're going to be poor, you should know that. Matter of fact, grab me Luke 21. Hold 6 and 14. Grab me Luke 21. Keep going.
But thou art rich.
We are rich in spirit. Who fill up the churches? Us. Latinos, Indians, so-called, Negroes. We fill the churches. Caribbean Islanders. We do that. Read on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Say they are who?
Which say they are Jews.
And are what?
And are not.
They are not. There's a blasphemy going on in this world today that people are calling themselves Jews, and this is Revelation. So this is towards the end time. That there will be people raising themselves up, calling themselves Jews, and they are not. But what are they?
For are the synagogue of Satan.
Didn't Christ set up churches? Christ did away with the synagogue. He made the church us. This is church right here, right now, with Christ is in the midst. Where two or more are gathered, there you find Christ. So it ain't no way no Jewish man can tell me that he's not from the synagogue of Satan when they wear the synagogue of Satan emblem, the six-pointed star, which is the highest form of witchcraft. There is no Star of David in the Bible. If anybody can show me the Star of David in the Bible, I'll pay your rent for 2 months. That's how confident I am you'll never find it. It ain't in there. The image for God is man and woman. Grab me that in Genesis 1 and 26. Read that for me. Give me Luke 21. Start at verse 20. Luke 21 and 20. And when you call, what's up, Sydney? And when you should see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Know that when you see Jerusalem compassed with Roman armies, that the desolation of Jerusalem is nigh. Jerusalem fell in 70 AD. Who did that? Us or the Caucasians under Vespasian and Titus? That's in history. Now, when I say that Caucasians are Roman and they took down Jerusalem, is that hatred or is that the truth? It's the truth, because you can verify that. Read on. And then let them know, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of they depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these are the days of vengeance. These are the what? Days of vengeance. These are the days of vengeance. Which one? That all things which are written may be fulfilled. So everything that's written in this book before this time of 70 AD, this is when the time it will be fulfilled. When Jerusalem falls in 70 AD and we flee into the mountains. Read. The woe to them that are with child, and to them that get sucked in those days, for there should be great distress in the land, and wrath upon the people. There's going to be distress in this land, and wrath upon God's people. And what's going to happen? Read. And they shall fall of the edge of the sword, and they shall be led away captive into all nations. Led away captive into Germany? Into all nations. Led away captive into Rome? All nations. Led away captive into Russia? All nations. They shall be led away captive into all nations. Just like it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 64, you will be scattered amongst all nations. Can't do that unless you on a ship, unless you go swim. So I don't know how you got to this land unless it was by a ship. And I'm talking about the Negroes, I'm talking about the Benjamites, the Caribbean islands, and I'm talking about the Levites, which are Haitians. Everybody else was here already. Puerto Rico, before it was called Puerto Rico by the Spaniards, the Caucasians, they was called the children of Ephraim. They was Israelites. The North American natives, they went by the name of Gadites. They were from the tribe of Gad in Israel. The Seminole Indians and the Aborigines of Australia, they went by the name of Reuben. That was their father's name, the tribe, Reuben. The Dominican Republic, my brother here from Dominica. He's from the tribe of Simeon. The Mexicans, before there was a border, ask them if there was a border. The border crossed them, there wasn't no border. They was going back and forth seeing their brothers the Gadites all day long. Now all of a sudden there's border patrol and border police and immigration laws. When the first immigrants to come here and perpetrate terrorism was Caucasians. My brother's been fighting against terrorism since 1492, man. They got the nerve to wage a war on terrorists. They need to turn the gun on themselves and throw the net over their own heads. They was the first terrorists, man. And now all of a sudden you agreeing with this war on terror. Obama done made you a terrorist. Now anybody on this block could be a terrorist. They gotta watch out. Anybody can have a bomb strapped to them. Nonsense he teaching, man. Barack Obama is a